entrepreneurship and is essentially just amazing arbitrage, really, at the end of the day,
Yes.
right? Like that's the difference between being a freelancer and being an owner. What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast. It's your host, Des. We have my lovely co-host, best friend, mentor, Heather. She's here.
Hey, guys.
She's hanging on to a thread, but she made it to the pod. Her commitment is ironclad. So it's just us two today. Josh is off today, taking care of his business. So today we're going to cover some fun things like actually, this is a kind of a continuation episode from the last episode because Heather left me on the cliff with scalability. And I had a couple amazing moments of scalability of what I'm going to be doing with the agency and really shifting towards a model that is a win. So 4 wins, Heather, not 3, but 4 for everyone involved. And so we're super excited to talk about that today.
Sweet.
Cool. So we've already talked about some stuff, right? Regarding scalability and, switching over to some recruitment, and since that's really hyper scalable, and create more community assets, and then creating a portal for business owners to find salespeople to help them really grow their businesses. I'm very clear that I love helping people who are already at least $100,000 a year in revenue, and I can help them take them to 7 or 8 with human resources. And if they want, they can then hire us as consultants as well to help them get there. So, Heather, so another cool thing that happened over the weekend that I think you'll love. Remember I told you I love writing, right? I love writing and reading. Remember that? So Monday, after a day of nothingness on Sunday, when I say nothingness, I was a horizontal vegetable where I felt like a cucumber. I woke up with so much abundance of like, man, I want to just give. And I finally sat down for 4 hours in the morning before I started like calls. And I wrote a 10-page single-spaced playbook of how to get into NFTs. Like everything, how to mint, how to set up a wallet, how to, how not to get scammed, how to, do due diligence. What's my entry strategy? What's my exit strategies? What trends am I seeing? Like all like down to like what kind of projects what kind of like project types there are out there, right? Like everything that I've learned about NFTs is in a 10-page single space playbook that I'm getting proofread and edited right now from a freelancer. And I'm going to have Kit make it pretty, and I'm going to have a download, something that's downloadable. And then I'm going to create individual articles on LinkedIn or blogs. And then I'm going to have a Notion space as well with, like a dashboard so that people can reference back to it and get involved. And the response I've gotten has been really amazing. Like people are really excited about that. And I was like, really warms my heart. And Ray tells me, she was like, well, are you going to charge for it? Are you going to turn it into a course? And I was like, you know what? Like, no, because I want as many people to get into this space and understand it as much as like I am obsessed with having people understand this, because I feel like it's like I hate using the word, I want to be virtue signaling like human rights or nothing like that. But I feel that like everyone should be aware of this. Like, this is like, it's like, I don't want to profit off of other people's ignorance in this case, because I want them to trust me to keep giving them value. Right. And if I launch my own project in the future, then I will have their support because I help get them into this space. Right. So I'm betting on my future self. Right.
Beautiful.
And I'm fired up about it. Like, I'm so fired up. So yeah, I took some time to write. It was amazing. I loved it. I want to do that like once a week. Just like sit down and like pound on paper for like 4 hours.
Anything goes time.
Yeah. Anything goes time. I love it. I guess from an how-to perspective, I want to create some videos with this as well.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, should we do it? Yeah, we should probably do them together. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? If I give you
Yeah.
the sections, like we would do one section at a time, and like create like a 5-minute video for each one, have a little library, and so that people are safe out there, because that's important. And I think it'll be fun to banter back and forth about each one, and to
Agreed.
give different perspectives, and also make it entertaining and fun.
I'm in.
All right,
I'm always in.
Yeah, we're going to schedule this then this week. If you notice, I'm on your calendar. I'm on your calendar 3 times. Yeah, this week. I'm on your calendar like 3 times this week. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I snuck it in there. I was like, I need some Heather time. I need some time.
I need some time. He says, I need some time.
I need some time. I haven't forgot about the public speaking stuff, so we need to keep that going.
You still have homework.
Oh, yeah, I already finished it. That's what I did. It's called tomorrow. So, all right. Something else I wanted to talk to you about too, while we're talking about scaling and things like that. And so, what is your thought? So, something that I've been like, I guess timing's everything, right? And based upon how you know everything I have going on, when do you think it's appropriate to turn your call centers into profit centers, right? So, for instance, I have an amazing designer. Her name's Kit. She's great in terms of the visuals, and I think she's really talented. I have a great producer who could do videos, right? And I just interviewed today a kid that I hope he accepts my offer, but super talented, like can do lead generation, right? I guess what I'm saying is, how do I balance or like know when is a good time to leverage those internal assets to provide work for clients while still maintaining their day-to-day stuff? Like I'm trying to really like grasp that, and I'm really trying to wrap my head around that.
Okay, so there's 2 things that you need to talk about when it comes to turning cost centers into profit centers. Like, there are 2 things. A, you never do it unless they are FTEs. They are your full-time employees, then you do it. If they are not, then you don't.
Yeah, they are full-time.
Which means you're the only person they work for.
Yeah.
Okay? 100% of the time. Salaried employees. Okay? So here's the catch. Like, you can't, like, a lot of people realize, like, oh, like, I found this independent contractor and this independent and this, and they pull them and they're like, okay, great. Well, now I can offer this thing that they would never usually offer, because the skill set is in the independent contractor's hands. So here's what you need to do is look at, if you've got FTEs where you can see an easy way of maybe slotting them together, for lack of a better way to say it, slot them together so that you can solve a problem for a client, right? So there's a new problem to be solved. You would look at how many hours a day, how many hours a week are they working on the things you have them working on? How many hours a day, a week in future do you have slotted for them to work on? And then how many hours every time they solve this problem for a client, how many hours is it going to take? And how much of it can you automate? So you're going to look at time spent. Time spent is a beautiful thing. Okay? So you have to make sure that you're not leveraging time spent on client-based projects the leverage time spent on client projects cannot exceed the amount of time they're spending on your projects unless the cost benefit analysis works out.
Yeah, that lands. Yeah, that was
Okay.
like what I needed to know was the balance of the time. And you're essentially saying that they should not be working more essentially for the client than they do for what we're doing internally. So it's like,
Unless,
yeah, it's
unless
more profitable.
the money that you're making from solving the client problem weighs out.
Mhm.
If that ends up weighing out, then you hire another person internally, or you take your internal work. If your internal work is, 10% of the puzzle, and the client work ends up being 90% of the puzzle, you take that internal work and you farm it out to an independent contractor. You don't
That
hire
landed.
another FTE. Yep.
Yeah, that landed.
Make
Wow.
sense?
Yep.
Easy math.
I love
Everything in
it.
life, everything in business is good math. Nothing more, nothing less.
I'm sorry to say that. It's good math. Oh man, that was
It's
fire.
true.
That was perfect. Because like I know like entrepreneurship and is essentially just amazing arbitrage, really at the end of the day.
Yes.
Right. Like that's the difference between being a freelancer and being an owner, business owner, is arbitrage, capital allocation in terms of time, resources, and labor and cash, obviously.
Correct.
But I want to create win-win. So like one thing that I'm thinking about doing, Heather, it sounds pretty crazy. I had this idea today with the guy I was talking to. I was like, well, what do you want to create? Because I really want to align, I really love the people who work for me and I really want to help them out and like be a part of their growth and really just inspire them to grow, because I think that's just being one, a good human being, and then two, like fostering creativity and making an impact in their life, right? And so like I'm always like, so the guy today I was interviewing, I was like, man, so like what do you want, man? Like what's your goal? What's your professional goals? And he was like, I want to own my own agency, lead generation agency. And I was
Okay.
like, sick. Like I'm like, awesome. Like I would love to support that. And then I was thinking, I was like, man, this guy lived like this. I was like, man, how can I create a win-win where I can like put this guy on a path of like getting his dream with as least
Now,
amount of barriers.
what does he do for you?
So he's going to be a lead generation specialist, but essentially what he's going to be doing is podcast guest and driving, like reaching out to people and, LinkedIn and social media, just creating conversations and pushing traffic to the pod, essentially. Right. But of value, not like watch our episode, but no, like have conversations with people and be of value, like listen to the pod. And if there's a certain episode that addresses a question that they may have or that you think will resonate, then just share it, right? In the community on Reddit forums or on LinkedIn or whatever, LinkedIn groups or whatever. But so his job is literally just to be a good human being. And so he's been typically trained to book appointments. So you've been working in the consulting world and coaching world, booking appointments. Like that was his job. That's his background.
He's a setter.
He is a lead generator. Like he's a
setter, period.
He's a setter. He hunts.
That's what it is.
He hunts and puts them on the calendar. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
That's what he does.
So I have two pieces of advice. Number one is putting someone on a path to fulfilling their dreams only happens when they prove their worth. I don't solve other people's problems until they show me they're committed. So you're first. He hasn't even started work yet. And you're like, how can I put this kid on a path to like be right where there's about 100 million ways, and I will tell you none of them until he shows you that he's committed and can actually do a good job. There's no data.
I mean, yeah, we're doing I always do 4-week trials.
Right. But if there's zero data in whether or not he's actually good at what he says he does. Once somebody is good at what they say they do, you see, okay, how committed are you to staying with me long term? And in that long term, Like say they're like, I'd love to work with you for at least a year, at least 5 years. Okay, great. In the year working with me, what else do you want to accomplish in your business? And you have them set the pattern, because buy-in is everything. You want to solve a problem where he hasn't even expressed necessarily what goals he wants to accomplish. He just told you that he wants to own his own agency. Neat. But in the next year, what do you want to do that's going to get you there? I want to learn how an agency works. Great, education. Then you set them up for success. I have an easy way for you to do that. Let me hook you up with A, B, or C, X, Y, or Z. But you have them set their tone and you have them set their pace. Otherwise, no matter what you do for somebody, it will make zero difference as to how it plays out if they're not the ones setting the goals, setting the tones.
Yeah. He sets his own goals. Okay, so I guess I should let you into my mental matrix. So what was coming up for me was developing an entrepreneur, right? He's working within the agency, right? And I foster the resources and, help him with, pretty much give him the environment to create what he wants within the company, right? Yep. Using my brand, using my social proof, right? To if he has the skill to back it up, then what came in my mind was arbitrage of okay, great. How can I create a win for this kid? A win for other people are having, which is lead generation. And I think it would tie in well as a complementary, this is something I've been thinking about. But I feel like it would be a great complement on the front end or the back end of the recruitment side of the business. It
Agreed.
Can lead to cross-selling. So that's where my creative, that's what I was thinking. And I wanted to create win-wins. So, but I get what you're saying. Can this guy actually perform first?
Well, and if you're talking about entrepreneurs, and there's a whole nother ball of wax. A, test for proof. But the B is you're going to have to figure out, without asking, you're going to have to figure out whether or not he truly wants to own his own business and has what it takes to do it. Because not everybody's built to be an entrepreneur. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Does he actually have what it takes to run his own business, or does he have what it takes to run a vertical? And then the catch-22 to all of this. The catch-22 to all of this is, are you spreading the mayonnaise too thin on the sandwich? Because nobody wants to buy something that solves every problem. There's a reason why people trust me. I only solve one problem. So are you going to dilute your brand by doing it? Because it's still your brand. And it'll still be you solving the problem, whether or not you have an operator and they're doing all the things anyway. So those are things you have to test out.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Do I want to do consulting, then do lead generation, then do recruitment, then have all this other stuff? So, which I guess the rebuttal to that would be to create a silo for that specific service, a specific separate thing, probably.
Yes and no, maybe.
Yes
Sometimes
and no,
it's
maybe.
Worth it. Yes and no, maybe. Sometimes it's worth it and sometimes it's not. It's going to have a lot to do with, you've got 6 months in testing, another couple months in figuring it out. And the truth is that when it's all said and done, we're looking at 9 months out before you even look at that. And you're at that point, you look at, okay, so if we add this to the brand, what are the consequences and the benefits? Because there will always be both.
And also the math, right?
And the math.
Because I've been doing a quality kind of approach and not quantity. Man, this shit's getting complicated. Okay. I'm like, my mind is like, oh shit. Okay. Scaling that and then trying to add that. Yeah, that would get, I guess the numbers will add up. Like recruitment is great because it can be like 4-figure collections at a time, right? On repeat, right? Like coming back, like come to the well and tap from the well. Like that could be, it's the economics is great, which is why like, I love it. It's a win-win. Now the lead generation stuff gets kind of icky because now I'm thinking about the numbers, the unit economics, and the people who would probably pay for this. Most people, if they have the money, if they have 4 figures to invest, they're going to invest that into ads, paid traffic, because it's a shortcut, and not like manual lead generation. Right. I hate to say this, the poor man's lead generation, but I don't think it's going to fit. It is the poor man's lead generation. It won't. It's not going. It's not my ideal clients. The more I'm thinking about it. Okay, I'm glad we're talking this out on the pod. Like this shit's great. My clients are doing 6 figures or more. Right? They don't need the poor man's lead generation. They need to pay for traffic. Get there faster. Okay. All right. Yep. I'm glad I got that out of my system. I just saved myself a ton of time and money. Yeah, that was great. I'm glad we talked that out. So hey guys, I'm glad you guys are kind of seeing behind the curtain of like, because this is going to be a crazy year, like a crazy freaking year. Like I'm super excited about it. NFT project, probably scale the agency, really go all in on this podcast and give you guys as much value as possible. We have some amazing guests on tap to be joining. We're on track right now to be adding 5 or 6 guests a week, like in terms of like being booked. So we're on track to be probably fully booked in the next few months for the rest of the year, which is amazing. And so, I'm just super grateful to be on this journey with you guys. And if you have any, like, I want to know your questions. Okay. Like what's going on in your business? What's going on? What's going on in your business? What's going on in your life? Yeah. Like what's going on in your life? Like, reach out to us. We'll love to talk about it on the show. Like, we're here to provide you guys value. And we want to build one of the greatest communities on the planet for entrepreneurs and investors. And today was fun, Heather. Dang, impromptu coaching calls. I love them. They're great. They're great.
I love it.
Awesome.
These are always the best ones.
So don't forget to subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. Hit that rating button. Give us a review. Send us an email. If you want to be on the show and become a guest, feel free to go to campfirecapitalism.com and hit the request to join the show, request to be a guest. And we'll love to play with you in the sandbox and provide amazing value to this community. So like always, love you guys and consume less and create more. Bye.
Bye.